In today's lesson, we'll be looking at sound triggers and how they can be implemented in a first-person game in Unity. Just like the Unreal tutorials, sound triggers are used to activate the in-game events when the player enters a certain area of the map. The first thing we want to do is create the trigger itself. Go to Game Object, 3D Object, and select Cube. Place the cube in a position on the map where you would like to trigger the sound and alter the size of it to meet your needs. Then rename the object as Sound Trigger. After this, make sure to tick the Is Trigger in the box collider on the inspector pane. This will set the 3D object as a trigger in the game world. Next, go to the audio file in the project pane and drag the artillery explosion sound onto our game object. This will automatically set up an audio source and attach the audio clip to it. Make sure to untick the Play on Awake and loop boxes in the audio source, as we don't want the audio to loop or trigger when we start the game. After this, make sure to untick the Mesh Renderer in the inspector pane. This will make the object invisible in the game world and allow the player to pass through our trigger. In order for the audio to be triggered when the player passes through the game object, we need to use a simple scripting method for the trigger to call the audio in the game world. Therefore, we need to go to our scripts folder in the project pane and create a new C# script called Play Sound and open it. The first thing we need to do is type in below the public class, public audio clip, sound to play, semicolon. This is the audio clip we are going to play. Below this, type public float volume, semicolon. This will control the volume of our audio clip. Then we need to type audio source, audio, semicolon. This specifies what audio source we are using in the engine. Below this, we'll need to include what is known as a public bool. We will be using this bool to detect whether or not the sound has already been triggered in the game world. If the audio has already been triggered, this bool will stop the audio from playing again. Below our audio source, type public bool already played equals false, semicolon. In the void start, we need to type in audio equals get component, angled bracket, audio source, angled bracket, open bracket, closed bracket, semicolon. This means that we are stating that the audio is get component audio source, which will be calling the audio from this game object and creating the audio source from it. Next, we need to specify what will happen when the player enters the trigger. So below the void on trigger enter, we need to type if, open bracket, exclamation mark, already played, close bracket. Then type audio dot play one shot, open bracket, sound to play, comma, volume, close bracket, semicolon. Go down a line and then type already played equals true, semicolon. This means that the audio plays when the player walks through the trigger. But if the audio has already been played and the script detects that this is true, the audio will not be triggered. Now all we need to do is drag and drop our script onto the sound trigger and subsequently drag our audio onto the sound to play in the script and set the volume to 1. Now when you play the scene and walk through the trigger, the sound is triggered. Also, if we walk out of the trigger and walk back into it, the sound doesn't trigger again.